Good afternoon, students. Today we will see the restrictions to the domain testing. Along with that one, the nice domains which have been discussed in earlier class. So what are the restrictions and why we are providing that environment for the domain testing means? As of we know, domains means the possible set of values which are used for processing the input variables for some task here, means a specified task here. Among that, what we have to do here is we provide a domain here. This domain will be tested for processing. Means what we need to consider here, we need to take that the domain is suitable for, is the domain is suitable for that task or not, whether that input is providing, means what is the input we have been taken from that set is providing the appropriate output or not, we need to consider. While performing, they have been specified some restrictions will be there here. Why so means, for example, first one is the coincidental correctness. As of we know that coincidental correctness means achieving the desired result for the wrong reason. Means we have seen an example also there where we are getting the same answer from each and every case. So here the problem arises here is the design or the task what we have been processed is the correct one, but sometimes when we are taking the input value as one, what it is doing, it is leading to the same output value whatever the case you are choosing there. So that desired path or the desired outcome which is achieved for the wrong reason is being specified as a coincidental correctness. So here how far we are specifying the coincidental correctness means we have taken the coincidental correctness for the domains here. So first we need to take the value from any one of the domain, whether it is from the true or the false. Whether it is true or false, we need to take. What we have to check here is whether the input what we are taking from this true block or the true domain is being executing in only the true values or not, means true part or not. So true part means you have some domain here. This domain has to execute only the truth values, means what's the truth value here for true only. If it is executing any input, if you can take any input here, any input is leading to execute or is processing false values or the false part, then what it is being specifying here is we are taking it as a wrong one. Means whenever we are taking a input from, means when example if a true domain means simply take it as a even, and then false domain means odd. Okay, so here what we need to do, whenever I am taking any input which is from true block, that is a true domain. True domains, any input has to be specified that it should be an even. It should be an even. But what it is doing, if we are taking the true domain value and it is providing the false part, that is not even, or vice versa. That is, if you are taking the false domain and it is providing the value that is the even, then it can be specified as a coincidental correctness representation. Means how I am going to specify whether it is a coincidental correctness or not. There lies the boundary. True, even and odd have been divided. I am saying even or odd. Means how far we are providing, we need to divide the boundary here. Means we need to provide the boundary of accessing for the true block, and then we need to provide the boundary of access for the true block as well as for the false block. So I need to specify which value will come under the true. means which is from the true and which is the false. I need to include all the values into that one. If I am failed to include the values into this one, into these domains, I am allowing to give the wrong values, then what it is doing is it is taking such values and providing the process what we are giving is a correct one. Okay, so the routines what we are taking will have only the accessibility of the variables, and it will take the values what we are giving. It won't decide what is the value to be taken at most one. So you who has to decide it, user has to decide the domain, and they has to give the means the values to be processed for this desired outcome. So the coincidental correctness means we are achieving the values, the path or the desired one from where we are taking this one is been happening that we are giving a wrong value and it is being taken into the correct, leading to the correct one. What it is, why it is happening, how it is being processing here is, the answer is we are giving the boundary what we are providing is a incorrect one, or we are specifying some values to be missed in that one, or sometimes we are adding additional values to that domain which is not the accurate one. So that come under the coincidental correctness. And coming to the next one, in this next representation we are having the representative outcome problem. So here we need to know the program input domains here. So what is the program input here? So program input domains means we should know what are the input values we are using for processing. So here I need to place a list of the values, list of the variables what I am using for my processing, the first one. So here by placing all that one, I need to take that whether any inputs domain is equivalent or it is a subset or it is a superset or any type of the relation is there or not. I need to check that representation. So here this part of providing or this part of accessing will be specified as a partitioning testing. So here how I am going to process. So the first representation how I am going to do here is, first I need to study about the program. So we should know what is the program here. Study about the program. Okay. So the program or a task what we are having. So in this task, what are the elements what are the inputs we are involving for processing. So involving means what are the elements apart from we are using for processing. So let take the task as a sum of n natural numbers or sum of 10 numbers, sum of the first 10 numbers, take it as. So we need to specify domain now. So that's why we need to take the sum of the 10 numbers here. So inputs are specified, involving elements are, what are the input involving elements will be. So here first I need to take this sum value. Okay, some value will be taken into the count and I need to take a loop. Okay, after that in that loop I am providing a I value and also they're being specified as a n, where I is equals to starts from where you want to give the numbering, it will start from there. I am giving I equals to 1 and then next n equals to 10. Okay, and then further any representations are there. So what I am doing, I am taking n value, I value, that's all, and whatever the values I am reading, whatever the values I am providing. So here so initially the value is 0, 0 plus 1. And then next after incrementing, it will take it as a 1 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 4, like that it will execute. So these are the inputs. These are the inputs I am thinking for the processing. So what are the domains I have to take? We need to provide the domains here. So we need to divide the space of the domains into that. What are the domains we are using? Sum means it's an output. So there is no need to provide the domain for the output. What you have to do, we need to provide the domain for the input only. So input here is I, which will start from 1 and which will end at 10. Okay. And coming to the next one, n value is 10. You are giving the n value, but what is the domain of the n value here is, it is been starting from 1 and then next it is been taken into the 10. From 1 to 10, I am reading this one. And coming to the, if you want to know about the output values, then what are the output variable we are using? Summation. And the summation is having the values which starts from the 0 comma, and then next it is including the values there. All the values it is been including, and later it is providing the values of that one. Means it is taking the values from 0 and then next 1 and then next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then it is providing the 10 here. So it is taking the values, but what is the final output here? The output here is, it will cross the, so the elements what we are using in that summation, this summation include the values which is having from 0 to 55. Not all the values, some values will be included. If we are being particular to execute, to provide the, what is the value it is being giving, it is being giving for processing means, so first the value here is 0 and then next 1. So by adding 1 to the 2, we are getting 3. After that 6. After that, what is the value? 10. And again 5, 15, 21, and then 28, and then 36, and then 45 plus, sorry, that is plus 5, 10, then it will be 55. So that's about the values we are using here. So if you want to get the values, of that output, the input what we are mentioning should be in a correct way. So now see the input domains here. The input domain what we are providing are equivalent. Equivalent means we can specify that they are using same values. We can specify they are using same values, but they are not equivalent. We can specify. If you go for the I and N, they are using the same set of values. Sum is also using the same set, but it is a some subset of this one. Means the values what we are using in I and R also present in the sum up to 10 only, and the remaining are not in the these value. So what you have to do, we need to specify the domains what we are chosen for processing. So here the partitioning, how I am going to partition this one here is, I need to take the domains and I need to provide the domains or equivalent. Or equivalent means they have been having the same set, that's all, but they are not having the same equal type of values, and they represents all the values all the time, has not been specified. If you go for the next example is there in the slide. So here let me clear this thing. Okay, so here in this representation I am using the values x square and the 2 power of x. So here if you see here, the values what we are using means if you are representing the value for processing, what it is doing for the one input value, it will be considered as a same one or not. First, we need to study. So what is the values we are taking here? So the value is 2 here. What is the function? Function we are writing here is, the function here is x square. X square, that is x into x. Okay. So here 2 to the power of x is also specified. 2 to the power of x means whatever we are providing is being substituted there. Means 2 to the power of x value has been given. Okay. For input means what I am taking here, input x is equals to 2. In this x is equals to 2, first substitute it in x square. That is 2 into 2 will be specified, which is the 4 here. And coming to the next one, 2 power and then next 2, which is being taken as the square, that is 4. It is being correct for, means the both are providing the same answer, but the actions what we are taking, performing, is not being equal when we are taking the another input value. Here x is equals to 3. Then x square means 3 square. So we need to provide 3 value, which is equivalent to 9. But coming to the next one, 2 cap 3. That is to the power of 3, which is equivalent to 8. So here the answer what we are taking is correct in first round. It doesn't represent that the both functions what we are using are the same. Only one input value you are taking will provide the same answer for such functions. Here what we are specifying, we are taking that these not being considered as a same value. The functionality what we are providing could be reverse here. Okay. And coming to the next representation here is, some functionalities are using adjacent domains also. So adjacent domains representation here is, we are using values which are adjacent to that. Means we can say they have been side by side representations. We can represent that one. So we can specify the task will be there like that. We can use the x plus 7 and then x plus 9. So both are adjacent only, which have been having the difference of just only 2 numbers there. Okay, which are having the adjacent domain representations for processing. So by that, what we are doing, we need to take which technique to be applied on that one. So here in this representation, what we are using here is, we need to study about the inputs as it is correct, but we also need to study about the functionalities what we are providing. In this function, it is providing that x square and 2 power x are providing the same answer. Then it will lead the functionality. The functionality of that both functions are same. By that we can specify when it is been equal, when it is been providing x is equal to 2 only, then it is been taking into the account that they are having the same functionality providing. But when we are using the another value, what it is specifying is having the functionality different, because it is been squaring that one and it is been providing the power value which has been placed by this representation. So that is the next one. And coming to the other representation, there is a simple domain boundaries and compound predicates. So here, while using the predicate means conditional statements. Sometimes we use the compound predicates. So the compound predicates means we may use the values what we are representing in input variables what we are using, that may be x, y, or some representations here. So while plotting the different providing, means while plotting any representations here, so what we need to do here, we need to present what the input values we are giving for this predicate. If I am giving the input value multiple, that is a different, sorry, two different variables, then what it is doing, then it is having the two such values for processing. If it is like this, for example, see, x greater than or equals to 0 and x less than 17. So here the compound statement, that is a control statement what we are using, is been specifying for the variable x here. Means here we are using x as a first condition. Okay, in this first condition, means in the condition 1, what we are providing, x greater than or equals to 0. If it is x greater than or equals to 0, then what could be the domain here? We mentioned it is equals to 0, and what could be the next representation here? It will be infinity. Means 0 to infinity is been taken for the first condition. And coming to the next one, we have been specified x is less than 17. X is less than 17 means x is a positive number. X is a positive number because how I am saying x is a positive number here, we are resembling to the first one. So here the first one here is we are having the x is a positive number, but it may have the two boundaries, but it don't have the multiple behaviors of the, it is having the positive in integers and the negative integers, like that it won't behave. So it may have the multiple boundaries or the multiple domains, but the basic type what it is being initiated will be same only. So from the resemblance of these first condition, we got that idea that x is a positive integer. So from where it is starting? It is starting from the 0. Okay, I can take it as a 0 and then 16. Means it is less than 17. So 0 comma 16. To satisfy this compound predicate, we need to read the value of the input variable, which is the x, and which is having the multiple boundaries here. So in this multiple boundaries, how I am going to specify this boundary here? I need to draw a line of that one and provide where it is starting. It is been starting from 0. Okay, so specify it as a 0. So from where I have to stop or from where I have to consider here is, we need to specify the domain 1 will be from this one to this area to this area. So here the values are from the 0 to and then 16 has been specified. And coming to the domain 2, this will be domain 1. Right, so this will, sorry, this is the domain 2. This is the domain 2, and this complete representation what we are taken here is, means which is from, this is from 0 and it is 16 and it is infinite. Okay, and this one is x greater than or equals to 0, and this one is x less than 17. So we need to specify two boundaries for just a compound predicate what we are using, which is a very, very confucius one, which has to be taken, has to be known here. That could arise as a problem. Simply, if you want to take such conditions to be specified here, simply try to use another variable for that processing. If it is allowing, then there is no problem. If you are making two same unique variable for multiple variables, means if you are choosing this as a two different conditions, then there is no problem here. Okay, why means here the answer here is x greater than or equals to 0. We will mention the infinite, from 0 to infinity we can use the that is the set here. If it is x less than 17, from this set only, we can use from 0 to 16, like that we can specify. Means at the same time, we are accessing to multiple representations here, multiple domains here, then it will cause the problem or the ambiguity while processing. So one we need to specify here is we need to take the boundaries be simple, and if you are been allowing to take the multiple values, I mean multiple variables into an account, then simply change that one and process where we are example. So here, if you take another example, which is been specifying as a one boundary, how here we are providing it as a one boundary here is, see in this example, we are using x is equals to 0. So there is a value, that is x is assigned as a 0. Then the set will be, it consists of only one value, which is a 0 only. And coming to the y greater than or equals to 7 and y less than or equals to 14. So here also we are providing y greater than or equals to 7 means from where we have start, from 7 to infinity will start. And so y less than or equals to 14 means where we have to end, it will be starting from 17, sorry 7, and we need to consider from 13, like that. Means all these things has to be included. Whenever we are specifying a compound predicate in that one, try to not use the same variable for the processing for the multiple values here. So for the, if you are choosing multiple domains for the same variable, what happens here? So this compound predicates won't be specified, and they will be having the problem of which closure or the which boundary has to be taken for processing. And next one is the functional homogeneity of the bugs. So here the functionality has to be considered, that we need to take these the function, if we are specifying any functional form, that is ax greater than or equals to b, here whatever we are specifying, we need to change the values what we are having for the a and b. The x value won't change here, the x value will be represented there itself. So what you have to do here, we need to specify there could be the functionality representation is there or not. So simply use the predicates not in a functional form. Simply use the predicates which has been having the variables and the values to be compared, or the variable to be compared. If you are using such function type of the processing, then the calling and then returning of that one will make the ambiguity for processing. And coming to the next one, linear vector space. So in this linear vector space, we have linear boundaries. So what are the linear boundaries we are using? Means linear means in the planar, we are simply specifying the boundary as a linear line. So here all the predicates what we are specifying will has the linear way only, but it is not like that. Why so? Means see this example. So here in this representation, which is being specified as the properties of the nice domains, these two are being taken as a some linear. We can't say that all the planars or all that one will use the same boundary only. They will be scattered like this. Whenever we are allowing to take this scatter into an account, what happens here is the boundary values will become missing here. So whatever the things we are using like that, this dashed lines will be represented as a missed boundaries or the missed values of the representation. Linear will be specified. Okay, linear we are giving, but not all the time we are specifying the linear providing. So what happens here? It will become the incomplete boundaries, or the boundaries which are not having the missed value representations. And coming to the next one, loop free software. What it is been specifying that, so we are using not only the predicates, we are also specifying the loops for accessing. So here we need to execute the loop at least one time. That's all. If you are considering that execution for the one time, that is each iteration what we are representing will have the predicate expression there. So we need to interpret the predicate expression here. Whenever you are interpreting the predicate expression, it is been updating the values. Why so? Here we are taking the conditional statement, and then next incrementation, and we are initializing that one at the first only. First initialization, after that we need to increment that one. Whenever we are incrementing this one, what it is doing, the predicate expression what we are providing, the resultant is been changing continuously. So what we have to do, we need to take look after that one. But without loops, we won't execute that representation. Otherwise, we are having the recursive also. What it is doing, always we can't use the recursive method for each and every simple problems here. So for the only the whenever we are trying to use the this recursion means the functionality being used like that, we are providing the recursion. We are not being using the recursion all the time. Loops will be considered. So the updations what we are doing for these values, that is I equals to 0, I less than or equals to n, I plus plus. I less than or equals to n means n will be one value but at first time. The another value will be next one means will I value will be incremented, as well as the n value what we are presenting has been, there is no change, but it is been incrementing the values. So what it is doing, it is been changing its resultant there. So it is been updating its values. So here we need to specify how many loops here are using means, if I am using 10 such loops, for that I have to take care of the 10 such predicate expressions, iterations, each iteration into an account. I need to look after all these things there. For each iteration, what will be the answer? And the answer has been specified or not. We need to write the possible domain for that one, which is a little means how can we say that it's a time taking one. And but what we have to do is nothing, we can't specify that loop free software will be used. So we should consider the loops, but try to not to make add more loops in our program. And if you are using more loops in our programs, what it is doing, it has been taking the ambiguity to be forming. And coming to the next one, nice domains. So the nice domains means the domains which are being clear, consistent, the closure which is been very perfect, the boundaries are being very closed or been defined very clearly, has been specified as a nice domains, which are being used for user purpose, and they have been using exact domains for input processing here. So here, whatever the domains we are using, domains means the input set what we are using for the processing, if it is a complete one, which leads to the program to be executed in a clear manner, then that it is being specified as a nice domain. If it is not like that, then it will, when we will say it as an ugly domain. So what are the properties of the nice domain here is the linear one, complete, systematic, orthogonal, consistently closed, and the convex, simply connected, all these things. And coming to this one, here in previous class I explained this thing. So this is the nice domain, which is the two-dimensional one. We are using to represent 3 rows of the data. 3 rows means we can specify them it as a we can take it as a functional equation, or we can specify it as a values what we are processing. Okay. So in previous class I explained what are the spikes representing. From here you need to take the data into an account. And now these are among the properties of the nice domains. I explained these linear means linear, and the non-linear boundaries means wherever you are scattering your lines, scattering means when you are plotting your domains, then what happening here, it is been overlapping with the other. This overlapping, what happens, it is been missing the next boundary lines what we are having. This is the tilted one. In yesterday's class I told you the representation of your one will be tilted, means the previous one is this one. What you have taken the angular displacement here. So what it is doing, it is been changing the way of accessing the elements here. So this boundary what you are using will be specified as a orthogonal boundary. So if we are tilted, means if it is an orthogonal boundary, then you need to specify which one has to be taken into an account. Likewise this one. So if it is been tilted, what I have to do, I need to specify you should take the values from below this one to this one, like that I do. So whatever the lines we are taking will be specified as the values what we have for the processing. So that's about the introduction of the nice domains. Tomorrow I will explain the ugly, and then some examples which are using the nice and ugly domains.